Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulihil Kareem. So alhamdulillah, we're going to start very shortly. Just making sure, giving people a few seconds, minutes to join, inshallah, and then we'll begin right away. So today we're going to be talking about how to manage people, especially staff, freelancers, and business partners. So inshallah, very exciting topic, very important, in fact. Okay, so let me just change my name. Okay, wonderful. And let's see who's with us today. So we have, mashallah, Danielle, Minhaj, is it Minhaj? Hassan and Noman Islam, mashallah. Assalamu alaikum to all of you and everyone else who will be joining. So I'm going to get straight into it. If anyone is late, then inshallah they can watch the recording. It is being recorded. So it's a very important session. And so let me share my screen with you. 1 second. So hopefully you'll be able to see my PowerPoint shortly, and then inshallah we can begin. So hopefully if you can let me know in the comments that you can see my the slides. And let me bring up your comments, because the more interaction that we have, the better. I would love, Danielle, wa alaikum salam, mashallah, thank you. Can you see my screen and my PowerPoint? Just want to make sure you can see me, you can hear me, and you can see the screen as well. Excellent, jazakallah. Okay, so bismillah, we're going to begin. So today's session is something which, you know, so many people, excellent Daniel, thank you. So many people do get wrong. And I have come across lots of people in different industries who've taken on the wrong business partners, who took a business partner on really early and then regretted it afterwards, who took business partners on because of a few reasons, but didn't look at the important things. Sometimes hired staff and then regretted it, hired freelancers and regretted it. So there's so many common things amongst these three. They are different. So staff, freelancers, business partners, they are three separate topics, but I'm going to cover some points which almost cover all of them. So inshallah, we'll discuss them. And there are differences between the three, definitely. Business partners is the most important one. You know, that's the biggest one. It's like a marriage. Staff and freelancers, it's not like a marriage, but business partners, it's almost like a marriage. You might be with them for many years. And staff and freelancers, they come and go. So let's have a look. So alhamdulillah, bismillah. This little slide here, I've shown this to you once before. Who can remember what this slide, which section it was from, or which session it was from? And I don't want to give you any clues except that there was 8 of them. There was 8, and that's all the clue I'm going to give you. And one of them is related to this whole topic. Danielle, you've got it, excellent. The visionary. So it was the 8 type of, what was it? The 8 type starts with a P. There was 8 of them. Visionary was just one type. Can you remember what that was? The 8 types of, and it was all about recognizing yourself, learning more about yourselves. Excellent, Danielle, the 8 types of business personality. So wonderful. So the 8 types of personality. So here you've got some. So this one is the visionary. The V stands for the visionary. They're a natural leader. They foresee the future and they pre-plan for it. And they enable others to see the same vision and bring them on board. So on board, you know, onto the business, onto the vision, onto their mission, to work towards it as one united entity. So they bring their staff together to have the same vision. They bring their freelancers together to have the same vision. But most importantly, they bring their business partners or their shareholders to have the same vision as well. And that's really quite important. You know, the visionary, everyone else doesn't have the vision. You know, there's many people in the world that are not visionaries. Visionary just means this, that they can almost see what's coming. There's a whole science around this in the world, planning for what's coming. and you know, the coronavirus, the lockdown, we can go into that, but we're not going to. Was it Bill Gates who did a video a few years ago, I think it was 5 years ago, talking about we're not prepared for the next pandemic, and it's being shared a lot. So that shows that he's a visionary. You know, he's seeing that when the next thing happens, you know, we're not ready for this, we need to be ready for it. But a lot of people, what they tend to do is deal with now, deal with just what's in front of them. They don't think about the long term. The visionary person is the one who thinks about long term. They're not always thinking about long term, they think about now as well, and they deal with now, but they have the long term vision in mind. When you're a business owner, which all of you, inshallah, in Golden Touch, you all want to be business owners, entrepreneurs, you have to have some element of vision in you. If you don't have it, you need to bring it and you need to learn it. And that's what this session is about, helping you to become like a visionary. If your personality is not that of the visionary, you can bring the traits, you can have the mindsets, you can learn from those who are as well. So they're very inspirational, very motivational speakers. And again, if you're naturally not a motivational speaker, motivation means that you can motivate people, you can give them energy, and they can go and do something just by listening to you. Inspiration is where you receive like a divine type wisdom and, you know, knowledge, and you can inspire people like a powerful, a deeper level of knowledge that others don't have. That's not something that you can learn, inspirational, but you can learn the techniques to become that type of person. Since it's there, I'm going to mention one of them: how to be an inspirational speaker. To be an inspirational speaker, you have to believe, this is a belief, you have to believe that I am not the one who guides people. I'm not the one who helps them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who guides them, helps them. When you have that belief, then Allah inspires you, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will inspire you with goodness, there's an angel called Mulhim, one who inspires. So just imagine two people, one believes he's the guide, and the other one believes I'm not the guide, Allah is the guide. Who do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to inspire with wisdom? It's going to be the one who thinks Allah and believes Allah is the ultimate guide. So to be an inspirational speaker, one has to have that belief. So that's why I say it's not something you can learn how to talk inspirationally. It's a belief that has to be in you, and then you can tap into that. Motivation just means motivating other people. So these are qualities of the visionary, the natural born leader. And if you're not naturally born, you can learn them. Okay, but everyone in business needs to become this type of person. Now, every business owner. Now, there's three things we're going to talk about, three categories when it comes to these relationships. The first one is about them, the other person, the staff member, the freelancer, or the business partner. The second one is all about you. So you, me, the person, myself. And then the third one, what do you think the third one will be? So there's three things here. There's the other person, there's yourself. What's in between them? Who can tell me what is it in between the two of you? The business. Okay, good. So Minhaj, that's true. That's the business is there. Excellent, Danielle, you got it. It's like you've seen this already. The relationship, and the business, Minhaj, is what connects them in this business. So the business and the relationship are almost like one, but it is the relationship. Their relationship is one of business. So there's three things. There's the other person, your business partner, staff, freelancer. Then there's you, and then there's the actual relationship. So we're going to look at them three separately. They are all interconnected. This is very important, that they're all interconnected. Some points will apply to the others, but I want you to start seeing them as three different things, because you have to work on each of them separately. Okay, so what do you think? There are 6 things when it comes to them. 6 things that I'm going to mention when it comes to the other person. Time is one of those 6. Now, this keyword that's up here, something them, what do you think that word is? Time is one example out of 6 examples. But what is this special word here? You have to do something. You have to something them. I'm not going to say what the word is. If you can't get it, I'll give you a clue what it starts with. So while you think about what that word is, let me tell you the example of time. With regards to their time, you don't keep them waiting. You be early, and you meet deadlines, you give notice to them, everything to do with their time. Okay, honor is along the right lines. Is along the right lines, so that's good. Yeah, courteous is along the right lines as well. It starts with a V. Okay, respect is excellent, Hannah. It's along the right lines. You respect their time, you honor their time, you're courteous towards their time, but it starts with a V. Okay, excellent. Danielle, you value their time. So this special word is value. Now, so when it comes to the other person, there are 6 things that you need to value that belong to them. That outwardly, it's theirs. And if you value these 6 things, your business relationship with them, automatically, everything between you, the person, and the relationship will get better, inshallah. And these 6 are how you can directly see, am I doing what's in my ability to be good to my staff member, my freelancer, my business partner. So time is one of them. So let's look at time. Don't keep them waiting. Okay. Imagine the last time someone kept you waiting. How did it make you feel? If it was a business partner or your boss or your staff member, they keep you waiting. As soon as someone keeps you waiting and they're quite late, and then when they come back and they're late and they don't apologize that they're late, it shows that they don't really value your time. And when they don't value your time, it means that, what do they not value? They don't value you. Yeah, it means they don't value you. So you want to show to your business partner and to everyone else, I value your time because I value you. Okay. And so I'm going to be early. I will meet deadlines. I'll give you notice. So this is really important in business, that you value the time. Can you think of what the other 5 might be? It's behind this big green block, the other 5. So let me see what other thoughts. So time is one of them. And there's another 5 examples of things that you should value in your staff, in your freelancers, and in your business partners. Let's see, what else can you think? Okay, excellent. Their effort, yeah, that's a good one. So their beliefs, very good. Yeah, that's very good. Their beliefs, okay. Their determination, yeah, good. So yeah, excellent. Anything else? You could probably list lots of things, but I'm going to give you 6 like direct ones. Their abilities, excellent. Quality, strengths, nice. Okay, good. One more. Give me one more thing that you could. Okay, good. Opinions. How about one more, something that's physical? All of you have mentioned abstract things. So abstract means that you can't put your finger on it. You can't see it directly. Okay, good. Their money, their family, excellent. Things that you can directly interact with. And time is something of theirs you can directly interact with. How? You're early or you're late. You give them notice or you don't give them notice. So time in that sense is direct. Family, money, definitely. And okay, good. So we've got quite a few. Are you ready to see them? Yeah, are we ready to see all 6? So let's see. There we are. Time, wealth. So we had money and wealth. We've got family. One that we didn't have was their feelings. So we'll talk about that. Very, very important when it comes to business. So many businesses break down because of ill feelings towards one another. Their belongings, okay? Such a small thing as their bag or their wallet. Well, that's not a small thing, but you know, their small items. That's also very important, because you'll see when I come to it. And their shortcomings, okay? Their shortcomings means the mistakes, because in business and your staff and freelancers, they're going to make mistakes. Okay, so we'll talk about that briefly. So these are 6 things that you need to value. And right now you might be thinking, value shortcomings, how does that make sense? Well, when we come to it, we'll see. So Bismillah, are we ready to see the next one? Yeah, tell me if you're ready to see a little bit more about wealth. What you can tell me, how can you value your staff, freelancers, your business partners' wealth? What could you do? So I'm going to show you, after you've given me one answer, I'll show you, inshallah, what I've written. But tell me, Hisham, Danielle, the others. Excellent. So how could you value their wealth? So pay them well, excellent, and on time. So that's 2 different things, which is very good. So Danielle's mentioned pay them well. Okay, so pay them a good amount that makes them happy, and also pay them on time. Now, both of them are very, very important, because the Holy Prophet ﷺ mentioned to the New Meaning that pay the worker before their sweat has dried, to the New Meaning. So you want to pay them as soon as they've done the work. You pay them to such an extent, so quickly, that they've not even finished, getting ready to leave. You pay them, because what will happen is the worry will come in their heart. Oh, is she gonna? Are they not gonna pay me? Are they gonna leave? Are they going to make me wait? I might not be able to. They're gonna. You might create worry in their hearts. So we don't want to create worry in the hearts of our staff and freelancers, business partners. We want to pay them straight away. So this shows how much the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he valued and he cared about the feelings of people. So they don't even have a worry or a thought, will I not get paid on time? He paid them straight away. Listen to them, hear them. Excellent. We'll come to Felix. So pay them ASAP before the sweat has even dried. Now, if you take these 6 things, you can write down so many ways that you can be good with your these 3 people, the business partners, the freelancers, the staff. There's so many ways. Can you give me any other way that you could show value to them through their wealth? Yeah, give me another way that you could show value to these people, your business partner, through wealth. Think about it. There's many. So just paying them on time is one of them. Paying them before their sweat has dried. Danielle said, pay them well. Okay, pay them well. That's really good, because you might imagine you negotiate over £5-10 over a small, negligible amount. What I tend to do is, when I negotiate with people, I sometimes I ask them to write down what they want, and then I increase it. I don't decrease it. I sometimes increase it. Now imagine how I'm not saying that you should do it. It's up to you if you want to do that, but I personally do it. So the reason I do it is, one of the great scholars and friends of Allah of the past, his name was Imam Abdullah al-Haddad rahimahullah. He used to pay his workers double. So he didn't pay them just how much they charged him. He paid them double, and he was a great pious person of his time. So ever since I heard that story about him, I liked the idea of paying people more than how much they charged. And it's a wonderful thing, because you make their heart happy. And when you make their hearts happy, it's mentioned in one of the hadith that one of the greatest deeds that you could do is to make the heart of a believer happy. One of the greatest deeds. And just paying someone extra makes their heart happy. So what a wonderful thing to be able to do. And whereas what most of us do is take the price down, and we're making their hearts unhappy over £5-10. So you can do that, inshallah. It doesn't mean that you should now misunderstand and go, you have to pay everyone more. It doesn't mean that. If you're ready for that, you can do that, inshallah. Okay, so nobody gave me another way. No one gave me another way that you can value your staff members or your freelancers or your business partners through wealth. So Hisham, you gave me Hisham, which one did you give me? So let's see above. Feelings, listen to them and hear them out. Promotions, wonderful. Promotions. Okay, I like that. So you can give them promotions. Depends what you mean by promotions as well. Are they going to have to do more work for the same? Because if that's the case, it's kind of not like a promotion. But if you're giving them an increase for doing the same work, or valuing their hard work, and then just giving them the extra, then yeah, that's definitely showing that you value them. That is saying you can let them know about how you value their work and efforts. Yep, definitely. E.g., so I'm saying more experience, you increase their money since they're more efficient. Yeah, excellent. So the more they experience, so let's say every 6 months you do a review, and then you want to pay them more. So, and if it comes from you, it's a wonderful thing. Why? Because that person is not going to want to leave you. They will want to be with you for life. And when you have people like that around you, staff and freelancers and business partners, they like you so much that they never want to be away from you, and they want to be attached to you for life. Then you've really earned their hearts. You've got their hearts. When you've got someone's heart, you have got them, and not in a bad way. This is not in a bad way. I'm saying in the nicest way, that you've earned the heart of someone, and now you can benefit from them back forever, inshallah, I mean for a long time. So this is why you give them. But if you want to do it in the best way, in the most ihsan way, you have to do it without the want for anything in return. Because if you do it with the want for something in return, it's a dunya benefit. It means that you're doing it for the world. But if you do it without the want of anything in return, you do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure, then you get hereafter benefit, you get Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure, which is most important. And on top of that, you still get all of these worldly benefits. So it's better to have both worlds. And to have both worlds, you just have to have the intention for Allah Azza wa Jal, for his pleasure. And then you have both worlds. So, and if you choose, I'm going to be good to you, increase your wealth, just so that you can be good to me back, then that's not sincerity. Then you only have this world, you don't have hereafter. So which one do you choose? Dunya or dunya and akhirah? You should choose both. And the way to choose both is do it only for Allah's pleasure, and you will have both. So do you see the power of that mindset? Alhamdulillah. Okay, so the third one is family. Family. So this might come as a shock to some people, that imagine this is your staff member. You're resolving their personal problems. Why? Because a happy and grateful business partner or staff or freelancer will do a better job. So helping them is helping the business. If you help your business partner or your staff and so on, they're going to be in a better state. They're going to be happy. They're going to be grateful. They're going to be free from that problem and stress. Now they're going to be able to do a better job. So if you can help them, help them. And there are many examples of, successful entrepreneurs in the world who go out of their way to help their staff, their employees. They go to their children's birthday parties, and they give them gifts, they give them bonuses, and then when they have some sort of, there's many businesses that offer mental health support and that type of thing. What are they doing? They're helping them with their family problems. So it's personal mental health support. Then there's personal insurance. In the States, many businesses give health insurance as part of a package. What's health insurance got to do with the business? It's their personal problems are resolved as a result of working in the business. So this is what this is. So can anyone think of another way of helping the family, helping your family, helping the family, or helping your staff, your business partners with regards to their family? So any examples? And I would love if you could give me an example where you've come across someone that who's helped their staff, their freelancers, even if it's yourself. Have you ever helped someone with their family issues, and then it helped you in your business relationship with them? So Minhaj is saying, consider their family situation, e.g. if they need time off. Excellent. It's a simple example there, so powerful. If they need time off because someone's passed away, someone's ill, coronavirus is a big one, there's so much of that happening now. And yeah, it's a really, so giving them time off because of something. Time off around babies being born or sick family members. Excellent. Hannah Hisham, in Middle East, they pay for their children's schools. Excellent. That's amazing. So you can see some powerful examples happening in the world right now. And we should be thinking, how can we do this in our business? That's what I want you to think. In your business, whatever your business is, how can you use these in your business with your staff and freelancers and so on? Okay, so mashallah, feelings. Danielle saying, previous company I worked for organized a friends and family day with food and activities. It went down really well with the staff. Excellent. So that's good. And if you can do something like that, you should. I help my my business partners, shareholders, some and the freelancers whenever they need it as well. Help them and help them with their family issues as well. And it sometimes takes time, but it's fine. It pays itself in dividends in the future. You know, it pays itself in the good relationship you have with them. It's worth it. Okay, feelings. Listen to and observe the emotions. There is a difference between emotions and feelings. I won't be going into the details of it today. So listen to and observe the emotion in them, not just the words. Have sympathy and empathy for them. In those three little lines, there's so much in there. So let me go into a little bit of detail for some of it. It's a very powerful concept to be able to listen to someone's feeling or emotion and not just the words they're saying. If you can practice that, you can save your marriage, you can save your friendship, you can save your parent-child relationship, you can save almost every relationship if you can just do that one thing, where you have to ignore the words. These words are coming to you like ammunition. You know, someone is saying something nasty to you, they're saying this and it's hurting you, but you have to almost put a shield here and ignore the words and look at the feeling that they're speaking from. And then what do? You respond to the feeling, to the emotion. You don't respond to the words. You ignore the words because the words are not truly meant. They don't mean those words. If you can do that, then you can save many relationships, and you can be the one who actually saved that relationship, because the other person might not be as emotionally intelligent as you. So sympathy, who can tell me the difference between sympathy and empathy? Can anyone tell me? Okay, because in business, you will always come across, you know, emotional situations with business partners, with staff, with freelancers. The freelancers not as much, but with the other two, they will come up quite often. I'll give you examples. Someone's angry, someone's happy, someone's sad, someone is distressed, someone is stressed out, you know, very stressed, someone's overwhelmed, you know, someone's burnt out. These are all emotions and feelings and things that they're going through. Someone's under pressure. So no one can deny that we will go through emotions in our business. We have to know, we have to learn how to help the other person, because remember, this isn't about me, this isn't about us, we're talking about the other person right now. Okay, so let's see. Sharai saying empathy, you put yourself in his, her shoes, and sympathy, sadness for his, her situation. Wonderful. So that's a nice way to put it, Sharai, thank you. Another way to put it is sympathy is the lower level. Sympathy is where I know and understand what you're going through, but empathy is where I feel what you're going through. I actually feel it. Now, it's important to have sympathy, at least. Empathy is good, it's very good, but if you are too empathetic, it can really put you off. You know, imagine you're listening to 100 people's problems and you feel what every single one of them is feeling. If you can feel that, you won't be able to you won't be able to go home happily to your family. You know, you won't be able to do anything. You won't be able to live normal life. So there is a way to overcome the empathy. You can still experience it, but you don't get harmed by it. But I don't want to go into detail of it now. All I want to say is that have some empathy and have and sympathy for your business partners, for your staff and freelancers. You know what? I'm going to mention it. It's important. When you have empathy, you have to believe that this person's problem has come to me, but I don't have the solution. Where's the solution come from? It comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I turn to Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give me the solution. And then with that mindset, your brain will be used, your mind will be used, your knowledge, your experience, your past, all of that will be used. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will inspire you with an answer to give them. And you will almost feel like it just came. It just came. So some people, when they attribute it to themselves, then this becomes pride, that, oh yes, I gave him the answer, it's come from me. That's proud, that's pride. It's not good. It's an evil disease, in fact. But when you say, well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired me, it's and I just gave the answer, then so what you're doing, the problem comes to you and you turn to Allah. Oh Allah, I turn to you for help. And then you ponder, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you the answer, based on, you know, all your past experience, knowledge, and so on. And then you give the person the answer and it's done. So when you think of it this way, what happens is, and you can do this with your business partners, with your staff, freelancers, when you do it like this, then what happens is you don't feel the pressure on your shoulders because it's not up to me. But when you do it the other way around, that I have to give the answer, then you feel all the pressure. Then you forgot Allah. Then you feel all the pressure upon yourself. So that small but yet very powerful change of mindset makes a huge difference when you're having business consultations, you know, with your business partners or your clients or your staff and so on. So if you can do that, you can still be empathetic, you can feel what they feel, but you just have to think, yeah, I feel what they're feeling, but I can't help them, Allah can help them. So I turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help them, and I'll give them the answer. And then you can forget and you can move on. So firstly, does this make sense what I've just explained? I'd like to make sure you've understood that, inshallah. So Khalid says, when do you draw the line when you start realizing your employees or partners are taking advantage of your leniency or niceness? Wonderful, Khalid. I'm going to come to that. So I'm really happy you've asked the question because it will come, okay? As soon as you know that they're taking advantage, you should be aware. So the example of it is this. Imagine that there is a peeping Tom who's looking through someone's window and looking at someone getting undressed. Compare that to a person who, you know, someone who runs into the middle of the street and takes all their clothes off, and then you accidentally look at them. So the two examples, I'll mention it again. Example one, someone is climbing up a tree, looking through someone's window. And example two, analogy two, is where somebody goes in the middle of the street, takes their clothes off, and you accidentally see them. In both cases, you see someone, you know, undress themselves. So you see their faults, is what I'm referring to. You see their faults. But in the first example, you looked for it. And in the second example, they showed it. So I'll say it again. In the first example, peeping Tom, you looked for their faults. And in the second example, they showed it. Okay, they showed it to you. So the answer to that question is, when they start showing their faults to you and their shortcomings or their bad qualities, like they're arrogant or they're proud or they're greed, they start showing these and the signs become very clear to you. That's when you should consider, okay, this person maybe I won't take on for longer because they're showing it. But what we shouldn't do is go around looking for it. Okay, we shouldn't go around looking for their faults. We should almost overlook them. So that's one thing. But that same question, the more detail of it is coming, inshallah. Okay, wonderful, Danielle. Thank you. Crystal clear. So belongings is the next one. Respect their belongings is a direct message that you respect them. Protect them, don't use without their permission, return what is theirs, even small items. So if someone's got a brush or comb, if you protect it and you return it back to them, then imagine how much they'll respect you. Oh wow, you saved that for me. I lost it and you returned it back to me. So when there's many stories of, you know, pious people protecting someone's item and returning it back and so on. Won't go into them, but I'll give you one example what happened to me. I found a item, or this item came to a property that I manage, and it was of a tenant who used to live there, and you know, and his name's there. The address is of this property I manage, so I have no idea who he is because he was from before. So I searched for him. It was just a iPhone case, but I didn't know what it was because it was inside a package. So I searched for him on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, because it was a very unique name, and I thought probably nobody else has this name, and there was only one person. So I contacted him, and then he actually said, "Oh yeah, that's me. It's an iPhone case," and he said, "You can keep it." And I said, "Well, I don't have an iPhone, so if you want, I'll post it to you, to your new address." And just for something like that, he's a stranger. He's not even one of my tenants, but he was really, really grateful. And small little things like that can, you know, change a person. Imagine if he in the future he wants to be a tenant of mine. He'll say, "Can I be your tenant?" You know, things like that, examples like that. You never know what it will bring. But when you do small things like return someone's belongings, take care of them, it gives them a sign, and it gives you a sign of what kind of person that person is. Then you'll know, I want to do business partner with this person. Okay, so I want to do business with this person. So this is why you should always respect other people's items, obviously because of the right reasons, but these are the effects of them is what I'm talking about. Now, what's meant by shortcomings? Other people's shortcomings. Your business partner, they're not perfect. The only perfection is in the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, all prophets and messengers. The rest of us are not perfect. We're going to have shortcomings. So advise them on how to improve in a constructive way. A constructive way is the sandwich model. So you say something positive, then you say the negative, which is the burger, the meat in the middle. Then you say something positive again, which is the bun. So bun, burger, bun, or bun, meat, bun. And so it's for every one negative, there should be two positives. This is a form of dawah, it's a form of constructive criticism. You should always say more good than bad. Okay. And another powerful thing to remember here is just remember your own shortcomings. Well, your business partner, staff, freelancers are not going to be perfect. So if you just pinpoint all their faults, they will feel that, oh, this person doesn't value me. This person really puts me down. I really don't feel comfortable here. I want to leave. They're going to want to leave. So if you remember your own shortcomings, it makes you more empathetic, sympathetic towards them, and then you can help them. One thing that you can simply do there as well is mention, oh, this happened to me once. I made this mistake. And when you mention your own mistakes, they really, they connect with you more. So overlook their minor shortcomings, but as Khalid was mentioning in that question, when do you draw the line? It's when it's major shortcomings. Yeah. So if it's a minor shortcoming, minor is, lost a little bit of money, made a small mistake, and so on. Depends on every business. But major mistakes, okay. And I'm going to give you an example because I drew the line recently with someone. One person, I won't mention who, but in one of my businesses, someone was absent for 4 weeks, with no communication at all. Didn't communicate with me, didn't communicate with anybody almost. And on a personal relationship, I wanted to make sure this person is fine. He's a friend as well. He's a student as well. So I wanted to make sure he's fine from that perspective. And, so all these relationships, friend, student, wanted to make sure he's fine. But from business perspective, it was unacceptable to leave a business partner in the dark for 4 weeks. So what happened after 4 weeks? He is no longer, and I mentioned it to him in the nicest possible way. He can no longer be a part of that business. So can you see how there's 3 relationships there? The first one, I would have gone to where he is. He's very far away from me. I would have gone there just to make sure he's okay. And I gave him hours of my time when we finally met up to make sure he's okay. And so friendship, student, alhamdulillah, relationship still intact. But business partner, it's not acceptable in business. Even if someone had passed away in your family, you don't leave your business partners in the dark for 4 weeks. So can you see, Khalid, coming to that question, when do you draw the line? You draw the line when it's a major issue, and a lack of communication is an example of a major issue. 1-2 days, that's minor. But when it goes to beyond 2 weeks, I would say that's going into the major realm now, and 4 weeks is major. So because business still has to carry on, your personal life carries on, but business carries on too. And it tells you something about a person if they just keep you in the dark completely. You can't trust that person in the future. You may love them, you may trust them, and so on, but this is a big example. Business is a precious thing. It's not just because of profits, because of how many people are going to benefit through that business as well. You have to consider your customers. So I hope that makes sense. You draw the line when it's a major problem, but not when it's the minor things, minor shortcomings. So alhamdulillah, that's how you value them, those 6 things. And there's many others as well, but those 6 will help. Now we come to us, myself, you, a relationship is built on the three things. There's yourself, the other person, and the actual relationship in between. So now we have to talk about us as role models and our leadership. Okay, so let's talk about us. This is in the way. Let me just move that. Okay, so this is a wonderful thing, and I have done this, alhamdulillah, myself in the past. Take the hardest role to lead by example. So what do you think people's reaction is when you take the hardest role? And I do this right at the beginning. So I remember doing it, I can never forget. I'm in a meeting, there's lots of us, and I'm assigning different duties to people, and I take the hardest role straight away. Hardest role, and everyone knows it's the hardest role. I take the hardest role. What do you think the reaction of the other people are? So Khalid, Daniel, what do you think their reaction will be? And your business partners, your freelancers, staff, they will have a similar reaction. So okay, he's committed. Yeah, that's true. So they will think that he's committed. Anything else? I'll give you a clue as to what I want. How will they react when I give them something? So Danielle saying, let's freeload onto him. If you're the business owner, you're the decision maker. You're the one offloading things to them. Okay. If you're the one offloading things to them, excellent, Khalid, you got it. They will do any job. If I'm the business owner, I'm the decision maker. So I'm giving these jobs out, but I've taken the hardest one for myself at the beginning. They will look at me and think, oh, wow. And, he's done the hardest one. If he gives me anything, I can't say no. So they will automatically be in awe of you. And as a result, whatever you give them, they will do it. And that is exactly what's happened many times. And this is why leaders have to lead by example. You are not the boss. The boss is the one who just bosses people about, do this, do this, do this. You're the leader, and the leader takes the hardest role. The leader, when it comes to the Holy Prophet ﷺ in the war, he was at the front. He was at the front, not the back. But when it came to conquering and winning, he was at the back, not the front. We do it the other way around, So, okay, it's such a powerful principle, and I want you to be able to apply it. And I don't want to rush. So if I finish at 8:30, we finish at 8:30 and we continue this another time. I want you to apply that to your business, because if you don't apply this to your business, then you would have only heard theory and no way of practicing it. So in your business, Khalid, Daniel, Hisham, all of you are thinking of, a business that you've got an idea. How can you apply that? Because this section 2, is all things that you can apply. So how can you apply that in your business? Take the hardest role. Even I'm thinking about it right now. What can I do in where I've got business partners where I take the hardest role? So can you think? Yeah, and if anyone's watching the recording, same thing. What is the hardest role that you can do? Doing the hardest role doesn't mean that you can't outsource it. You can. It doesn't go against the outsourcing principle. If you're really not good at something, you outsource. But I'm talking between you and your business partner, just you and your business partner, or you and your staff. If you've got a staff member who's like an accountant and they're going to do Excel sheets and you're not an accountant, it doesn't make sense for you to do it. It makes sense for them to do it. But if there's just you and your business partner, there's two things that need to be done, and only one of you can do it, or it's either one or the other, then you be the one to say, okay, you know what, I'll do it, because and your business partner will look at you in awe and respect. Okay, Hisham, if you don't have a business partner, you're already doing the hardest role. Okay, so Hisham, for you, and this is important, if you don't have a business partner, everything you're learning it's probably more important, because this will show you what kind of business partner to have in the future. You can prevent having the wrong business partner by learning this stuff. If you don't know these things, then you learn the hard way when you do take a business partner on. But if you learn these things, you can say no to all the wrong business partners. I can tell you, I've been offered by one person, 10%, he offered me 10% of 15 million, 10% of 15 million in a property company, and that would have been 1.5 million. But he wanted me exclusive for him, just for him and his business partners, and just to work for him only, nobody else. And I'm sure you know, because I'm here today, I turned it down. And yeah, the reason I turned it down was, I believed I can make that myself, firstly, and secondly, I don't want to be, my freedom is the most important thing for me in business. I don't want to be tied down to someone, and I don't care about the money. The freedom, the flexibility, all these things are much more important. So why I mentioned that is I was able to say no. If you don't have a business partner, you're already doing the hardest role. You need to be able to, you need to know the person, and it doesn't matter if he had more money. If he had more, I still would have said no, because he wasn't the right business partner for me. He didn't reflect these good qualities I'm talking about. So I hope that gives some insight into that, Hisham. By learning this stuff, you can say no to the wrong business partners and yes to the right one. Okay, so Khalid, that's right. Something hard can still be subjective, because what's hard for different people is different. What's hard for me and hard for you and hard for someone else is different. So master, now this is for, again, these are the things for you to become a good leader. You need to master your own emotions. And what does that mean? It means so many things, but move between the spectrum of being polite and harsh, and as and when needed. So Khalid, this comes back to your point before about when to draw the line. You can be polite, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ's example is he would not take revenge for himself, but he would take revenge for others. So you can be, as polite as possible, and that's good. But when he ﷺ was angry, it's mentioned that his vein in their forehead would be so red, it would be like his blessed face was piping hot. And so what does that show? That you should change between the spectrum of polite and harshness as and when needed. You manage your emotion, not your emotion manages you. So I'll say it again, that these emotions, these feelings will come. You're going to be angry at your freelancers, staff, business partner one day, and another day you'll be super happy and excited. So you need to manage the emotion by choosing to go from the polite spectrum to the harsh spectrum when it's needed. Now, when is it needed? Who decides? Your logical mind will tell you when it's needed, not your emotional mind. Okay, your logic mind. There's only two minds. There's the logic and there's emotion. If you decide things emotionally, you will make bad decisions almost every time. You have to choose logically, you've got to choose. And what that means is, let's say my business partner is wasting money, or my staff is stealing money. Okay, now I'm going to feel something. I might say, oh, that's it, no end to this business, or I'm going to fire you, and so on. But logically, it might be better to sit him or her down and speak and find out what's going on and see if I can actually try and resolve this problem. So, and then if you find that there's something deeper, you might be able to fix it. But if you find that they're a drug addict or they're using it for some other unlawful reason, then yeah, okay, logically it might be better to let them go. So you don't want to act out of your emotions. You want to put the emotion aside and you wait for logic. Okay, the easiest thing to do is, whenever you're emotional, wait for it to pass. Simplest thing to do. Whenever you're emotional, wait for it to pass, then make a decision. Then make the decision. Don't make a decision out of any type of emotion, even if it feels good, even if it feels bad. So to be a good business partner, you have to become like this. And if I found someone who's very emotional, as in they can't control their emotions, they probably wouldn't be a business partner, you know? Okay, so you don't want someone like that. You want someone who's more in control. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, does this make sense, what I've said regarding the emotions? And can you see this in business, you know? So Hisham, yeah, wonderful. Can you see this concept, how it harms businesses? I mean, I was listening to a billionaire speak the other day. He was being interviewed on a podcast, and he mentioned such a funny story This other billionaire, these are two billionaires, this other billionaire, he might have been a millionaire, billionaire, whichever, he just wanted the biggest yacht. His marriage broke down, his child left him, and all he wanted was the biggest boat. That's all he wanted. That's an emotional desire. A desire is emotion. All he wanted was this desire, his emotion to be fulfilled, and he lost his marriage and children over it, just to have the biggest boat. So such a strange thing, but yet his business purpose was to have a biggest boat. So emotions are definitely in business. Okay, so I've mentioned this. Use logic. Know who not to work with or hire when they show signs of greed, arrogance, and bad character in general. So Khalid, coming back to your point, that is when I would, this is another sign. When they show these signs, greed, if they show signs of greed, signs of it, then you should think to yourself, okay, if they're being greedy today, what are they going to be like when we have 100,000 or 1,000,000? You know, if they're greedy today, what will they be like then? Yeah. So if they're giving now, then they'll be giving when we make more. So you're looking at these signs, and this is to an extent, that's why you probably heard me say so many times, look at the small signs, because the small signs indicate what kind of person this person is, and that's going to show in the relationship with you as well. And these are not small things, by the way. Greed, arrogance are not small things. They are big problems. They're worse than cancer, but that's for another day, inshallah. So the other things that you want to look at within yourself is this: practice what you preach. You need to be sincere, because if I preach something and then I'm not acting on it, then that's a hypocrisy. And sincerity is, you know, to be truthful with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be truthful with yourself, and be truthful with others. So practice what you preach. Say something, but then you're the first to listen to it. Practice it, and at least try. Okay, at least try. Because if your business partner sees sincerity in you and your staff and your freelancers, they see that you're a sincere person, then they will want to work with you even more. A sincere person, people become devoted to them. But insincere people, hypocrite type people, no one becomes devoted to them. They don't want to work with them. And I can give you examples of, I remember this one man and two ladies, I had to do an emotional management session between them. And it was all to do with a fee. So this big property deal was about to go through. It didn't happen. And they were arguing over the fee. I was in the middle. There was him, there was them two business partner ladies. And they were arguing over 3%, 4%, 5%. And in the end, I decreased mine and gave them equal so that they're all happy. But what that showed me, that incident showed me who they really are, what kind of people they are. They were, you know, making up false accusations and all sorts of things. After that day, I decided I don't want to work with these people again. So they lost out working with me, and I've not lost out because I got to see what kind of people they really are. So sincerity, practice what you preach, and, you know, be aware of going to the other extreme, because that's hypocrisy, you know. So these are very important things in business. You might think these are just good qualities, but they manifest massively in business. As the Holy Prophet mentioned, if you want to know someone, 3 times is when you really get to know them. What are those 3 times? Who can tell me? What are those 3 times when you really get to know someone? Business transactions is one of them. Excellent, Khalid. Traveling, and the other one is, yeah, so one is you're traveling with people, you get to see what they're like, you get to see how annoyed, and it's not difficult times, but that is a good one. And to be honest, Danielle, I'm going to come back to that. Yeah, Shara, that's correct. It's when you live with them. So the 3 times is traveling, then business transactions, and when you live with someone. And Danielle, what you've mentioned, difficult times, that applies to all 3. Because when you live with someone, you see their difficult times. When you travel, you see the difficult times of travel. And when you do business transaction, you see the difficult times of that. So what you're mentioning comes in all 3. And that's an important point, because that is when you get to see what a person's like in their difficult times. So these are really important qualities when you see this in a person and the signs of it, it shows you what kind of person you're dealing with. Do you want to deal with this person in business or not? Humbleness, you want to have that in you. Okay, it's so important. The people in business who are loved, the leaders, especially the leaders that are loved the most, are the ones that are the most humble. Now ask yourself, do you want to be a humble leader? Because if you do become a humble leader, your followers, your staff, your freelancers, your business partners will follow you with love and with want. You won't even have to ask them to do something, they will want to do it. So the Holy Prophet ﷺ was the most humble, and if he asked anyone to do anything, commanded, not even command, if he asked them, they do it instantly. So humbleness, don't brag or mention your favors. And there's many other things I could say about humbleness, but just in business, that's one thing. To your business partners, don't brag to them, I did this for you, I did that for you. You know, do you remember I did this? Do you remember I did that? And so on. Just forget about the favors you've done and be humble. And when you show humility, so another way of showing humility is be the first to apologize. Another way to show humility is be the first to acknowledge your mistake. You know, if you make a mistake, acknowledge it. Be the first to acknowledge, and if you learned something, be humble enough to say, oh, I've learned something today. Be humble enough to say to your staff member, I learned something from you, that was wonderful, thank you. Be humble enough to say thank you. Okay, when you are humble with someone, in their sight, they love you more, they honor you even more. But many of us think indirectly, if I humble myself, I'm going to lower myself in your sight. That never happens. When you humble yourself, in the other person's sight, you go up, and they can't even stop it. And when you become arrogant, like, I did this, I invested in you, I came up with the idea, you know, when you say things like that, in the other person's sight, you go down. Your value, your honor goes down. So be humble in business if you want to be a true leader, inshallah. Okay, and then the other ones are these two are directly related. If respect and trust, it applies with children as well, but in business definitely. If you want your staff to respect you, you have to respect them first. If you want your freelancers and especially your business partner to respect you, you have to show it first. You have to trust them and they will start to trust you, and you have to respect them and they will start to respect you. Many people sadly want to be respected, but they don't want to give the respect. You have to give and then you will get. Okay, you have to give and then you will get. And you shouldn't even want respect. So if you're a humble person, you won't want respect. You won't want people to be like this towards you. So it's not really something that we should want. We only want, if you want Allah's pleasure, and through business we want Allah's pleasure, then people's respect, it comes and goes. You know, it's in Allah's hands, it's not in the people's hands. That's a side point, inshallah. So this is the second section. I'm just going to summarize it. Take the hardest role, lead by example. Okay, this is you as a leader. Be a master of your emotions and be able to move between the spectrum of politeness and harshness. Be able to move in that spectrum and use logic, never use your emotions. Put them aside, wait for them to pass. Okay, be sincere, practice what you preach, be humble, and I mentioned different ways to be humble. Respect them first and trust them first. With regards to trust, give small things and see if they're trustworthy. And, you know, with small things, like I always say, dip your toes in the river before you jump in. So inshallah, I will finish this section because this is the third section. Then we don't have to wait another 2 weeks. As the session is being recorded, if anyone needs to leave at 8:30, inshallah, you can leave. But I will carry on, and then you can watch the recording if you do have to go. So the third section is about relationships. And for relationships, the one quality that comes again and again and again in all relationships with regards to business is your self-sacrifice. Now, so self-sacrifice is the common quality that you're going to see in a good business relationship. And that's why every single point here you're going to now see they all have elements of self-sacrifice in them. So let's go through this. Remember the three things we've talked about. Number one was how to value them. Number two was how you should be yourself in this relationship. And then the third one is how to work on the actual relationship itself. And self-sacrificing, which just means choosing them over yourself as often as possible, that is directly working on the relationship, because there's a comparison. I'm choosing you instead of me. I'm not just being sincere, humble, grateful, and so on. I'm not just valuing you, your belongings, your time, but there's a direct connection between you and me. I'm choosing you over me. That's the difference. I'm choosing you over me. And what that will do is you'll see so many benefits of what it does. Now, one way to practice self-sacrifice is this. Practice delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is where you do something today, but you get rewarded in the future. You get rewarded in the future. So it could be in business that, okay, there's income that's coming today. I won't take it. I don't want to take it. I want you to have it. You have it. Okay. How will your business partner feel? If you're saying this to them, I want you to have it. I won't take it. I want you to have, your salary covered. I want you to have your business expenses covered. I want you to live a happier life. And I don't take anything. You tell me, how do you think they would feel towards you? So Shara, Aditya, Danielle, how do you think they will feel if you're practicing this delayed gratification directly with them by saying, let me get paid later. I don't need it. I want you to have it. So obviously the business structure is, one might have a salary, one might not just yet, and so on. Yeah, it's definitely going to build more trust, like they owe you. Yeah, Hannah, that's a good one. They'll feel like they owe you. And remember when I mentioned before that you want to win their hearts, because when you win the hearts of someone, then they want to be with you for life. And that's a wonderful thing in a positive way. They won't want to leave you. Many bosses in the world, there's a saying, and I think it's true, that there are more people that leave managers than leave jobs. So there are more people that leave managers than leave jobs. So it's because of bad management. And what I'm talking about is management. How many managers have you had where they sacrificed themselves, something of themselves for you? Then you wouldn't want to leave that manager. So if you can do that for your staff and business partners, you will have staff and freelancers that will love to work for you. They will choose you before they choose to work for someone else. Okay. Always focus conversations on them. Take interest in their personal life. Now, this one you can apply to lots and lots of people. When you're having a conversation with someone, with your business partner and the others, staff and so on, talk about them. Don't talk about yourself unless they ask about you. Okay. And if they don't ask about you, don't feel bad in yourself that, oh, he didn't even ask about me. She didn't ask about me. Just think to yourself, maybe they've got a lot going on. That's why they didn't ask. And it doesn't matter, So focus on them and they will feel like, like Tanim was saying the other day, make them feel like you're their favorite person, that this is the favorite person, and this is a sunnah as well, and it's going to come as well. And there it is. Treat them like they are your favorite person. If you can do that, it's a wonderful thing, because I mentioned before, one of the greatest good deeds to do is to please the heart of a believer. Please the heart of a believer. And you can do this in business. You can do one of the biggest deeds in your day-to-day business. What a wonderful thing that is. So there's a reason that Hazrat Umar radiallahu anh, there's a saying that if he had the choice of where he would pass away, it would be whilst doing business. And imagine, I'm showing you one thing, that in business you can please people's hearts, and that is mentioned in another narration as one of the greatest good deeds. Treat them like they're your favorite person. I like to do this. Coach them for free within reason, no charge. So your business partners, your shareholders, people who started you off in your journey, generally, and it is general because it can change with specific circumstances, you don't charge them. I wouldn't charge my business partners or shareholders. If they're going to buy a big product that I've put a lot of time in to make, then maybe yes there. If it's going to be a weekly coaching thing, then yes, I would charge them. But if it's going to be a one-off call here and there, then no charge. So your business partners are not the people that you want to be charging with, or you want to give them free sessions and so on, as much as you can. But again, there's a limit to it. Okay, so that's another thing. So how does that relate to self-sacrifice? They will know that you're sacrificing your time for them, and your time might be worth such and such and such amount, and they know that, but you're willing to give that time to them. So there's another way of self-sacrifice. The last few ways is this: pay them more than what they think they should be paid, and what they think they should get paid within reason. So this is a wonderful thing. Imagine you and your business partner have to sit down and discuss how much, but you're both going to get paid from something. Let them write the figures down, what they think, and then if you're happy with it in your mind, then just increase it for them by a little bit, a few, £100, £200, so on. Imagine how positive they will feel that you're happy for them to have more. So pay them more than what they think they should be paid. And that's important, what they think they should be paid, not what you think. What they think they should be paid, you pay them a little bit more. Again, it comes back to, you've got to look at the big picture. Yeah, I'm referring to a person who I would want to do business with. They have good qualities, they're humble, they're sincere, they're they're truthful. If this is someone brand new, I would be looking for all those things first, and this discussion about payments and stuff might come later, because the business might not have even made money yet. But it's something for you to think about. Pay them more than what they think they should be paid, within reason. Okay. Inspire and motivate them with words of encouragement, even when you are in need of it. So you might be going through a terrible time, hard time, but your business partner is going through something too. So you want to be there for them, inspire them, motivate them, encourage them, even though you feel you need it. And that's self-sacrifice again. They will know that you're going through something, but the fact that you're still there for them, they will know that, oh wow, they're going through this hardship, but they're still here for me. That says a lot about you and about your commitment to this relationship. So this is one of my favorites, and if you're going to take anything away, please do take this one. Incentivize them. This is the example of the carrot. Do not give them targets, as this brings about pressure. Many organizations in the world use targets, that you've got this target, you've got this target, you've got this target. The same organizations have big turnover of staff. And the reason is because they look at their staff as resources, and your staff are not just resources, they're human beings. What you want to do is incentivize them. And if you incentivize them that if you reach this goal, if you attain these, you will get this. And if you don't, it's fine, you get the basic, you get the basic thing. So then what it does is it will show the difference between all of your staff members or your freelancers or your business partners. When they're all incentivized, if they want that extra, they will go for it. And if they don't want it, then they don't. You don't lose anything. And if they're incentivized, if they go for it, then you benefit and they benefit. And if they don't go for the extra, goal, whatever it might be, then neither of you benefit, but neither of you are harmed. You're not harmed. So when you give them targets, all it does is it puts pressure on them. They just, mentally, they're trying to reach this target. And then eventually they will feel that, oh, I don't like targets, I don't like pressure. And then before you know it, they may want to leave. So when you incentivize them, they never have that issue because there's no pressure. And it's much nicer to live life without pressure. There is a wonderful teaching, it's very powerful, and that is that a little bit of pain creates the movement that you need, and that is a bit of pressure, but that's when you bring it upon yourself. So let's say I'm comfortable, I'm in my comfort zone, life is wonderful and it's fine, and I don't feel motivated to go out and do anything because I'm fine where I am. When you're like this, you need to create a little bit of pain in your life. That might be that you subscribe to a big coaching or mentoring program, and now you have to find a way to pay that. So you do it. I actually did this. This is why I'm mentioning this. I signed up for a £700 a month mentorship. Then I felt, okay, I need to make sure that this business pays for this, and that's exactly what I did. I used the knowledge I was learning, I set it all up, and then that business paid for that education, and it still does. Well, it's finished now. So I created a bit of pain to push me, and it works. And if you do the same thing on smaller scales, then you know that can really work. But what I'm saying is, you can create the pain for yourself. Don't create it for someone else. So coming back to that point, incentivize them, but don't give them targets, as this brings about pressure. And my last few points, there is, let them compare with one another or compete with one another. Reward them, and reward the ones who did the best, but reward all of them. You might not be able to see it, but reward all of them, but reward the ones who did the best. So, and it's directly related to their efforts. My last 2 points are here, and then I will finish, inshallah. And maybe if there's a few questions, we'll answer. So coming back to Brother Khalid's point, self-sacrifice has a limit. So be open and honest with them. Like I told you about that example of, the person I had to let go after 4 weeks. Don't let minor negative feelings grow. Nip them in the bud by discussing it early and in a polite manner. Now, what this is referring to is, yes, self-sacrifice. You keep sacrificing for the other person, and you keep doing it, and you do it in different ways, and that's great. Inshallah, you'll get rewarded. You're a wonderful person. It makes your character a better character. But there is a limit. If you keep doing that and the person starts taking advantage, then there comes a point where you need to realize, okay, this relationship is one-sided now. It's me giving and them taking. When it's like that, then you need to be open about what you're feeling. And if you can do this, if you can discuss the negativity that's inside you about an incident, about the person, about finances, whatever it is, if you can discuss it early on and you can nip it in the bud, it won't grow. But if you don't discuss it early on, it will grow, and that same negativity will destroy your business or your relationship. So I've done this myself, alhamdulillah. And it's wonderful. We talk about the small negative things. As soon as I recognize them, talk about them in a good way. It's very important it's done in a good way, polite manner. And then that thing's nipped in the bud, it's gone, and the business grows and it gets better. That's what I mean by look at your inner self 98% of the time and the outer world 2%. Because if I didn't pay attention to this negativity, let's say I'm not being paid for something and I'm giving time and I'm doing this again and again, you're going to have some negativity in you. So you mention it to your business partner, I feel that I'm not getting paid for this, and I'm doing quite a bit. What do you think? And then they might say, oh, then I think that you should get XYZ, get paid this much, and let's organize it in this way. Then you'll think, oh, that's wonderful, yeah, it's sorted now. It might have been that simple conversation, but if you didn't mention it, it will grow and grow and grow, and eventually you might think, I want to walk away from this business. So nip them in the bud by talking about them early on in a polite manner, and then your self-sacrifice. Because why will that work so well? Because you've been self-sacrificing for this other person, so when the time comes that they need to sacrifice for you, they will do it instantly. That's why. So a relationship is a two-way thing. If you sacrifice for them, they will then sacrifice for you. And my last point, alhamdulillah, is here that be observant, focus on their positive traits, but be aware of their negative traits. It's like I was mentioning about the peeping Tom example and someone running in the street. Only take those with more positive on, but continue to be observant as people change over time. So people do change over time. I gave you a personal example of one person after 4 weeks, he was wonderful to start off with. It was perfect. But with time, people change with time. And that's why you need to be observant. And then you can deal with that issue and it can be resolved. But if you don't, this nipping in the bud, I did it. my friendship with him is still there. My student-teacher relationship with him is still there, but the business relationship had to come to an end, and that's perfectly fine. So the business hasn't ended, but that relationship ended. And you know, we talked about it, and he's very happy. He has some shares in the business, which he's very happy with, and you know, I'm very happy as well. So there's some personal examples I've been given for all these different things, which is fine. Happy to do. Is there any questions anyone has regarding this topic? So to summarize, there's three things. There's you valuing your business partner or your staff or your freelancer and how to do it. Then the second section was all about you, the person you should be, the qualities you should reflect in business to be a good, you know, to have that good relationship with them. And then the third one is how you can directly work on the relationship, which was through self-sacrificing, and some examples. So, Hannah, Khalid, Shara, Aditya, mashallah, if there's any questions you'd like to ask, I think it's almost probably Maghrib time now for us in the UK. So, then alhamdulillah, on this note, I would like to finish, and Jazakallah, some of you may have left for the prayer. And thank you so much. Jazakallah, subhanakallahumma bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakallah.